In a world where people are losing their minds, who will be the voice of sanity, of logic, of rationale, of morality and truth? This podcast is looking for like-minded people to stand up to the insane and be real. The Recovery Atheist podcast is calling you to step forward and be counted. Welcome to the Voice of Change. Welcome to the Recovery Atheist podcast.
Hi, I'm Pot Pastor Casey of Cannabis Church of God. You are about to check out the Recovering Atheist podcast with my brother Dell. He's about to share with you his new adventure in medical cannabis as a recovery accepted person in his state, and what that means and how it worked. And I can't wait to hear this podcast, this new podcast series by Dell, myself, as a medical cannabis patient and a cannabis clergy, marijuana minister, pot pastor, whatever you want to call me, of my own religion and my own church, while doing research for my own documentary series, The Cost of Cannabis, on my Down the Road Show YouTube channel. I came across all kinds of people of different faiths that were ministers or leaders in religious aspects or spiritual aspects that utilized cannabis as their sacred sacrament. This plant, it's agriculture. It's older than humanity. It's as old as civilization. And it is just that. It's agriculture. And I learned there's one single plant, how much it can do besides for just my medical cannabis needs as someone who just 4 years ago was fully able-bodied and fully healthy. And as my health declines more and more, it's getting harder and harder to use my hands to even do any editing for my video work and to even finish my documentary series. And while working on my documentary series and working on the episode for the veterans, talking about their needs for cannabis versus pill form medication for those that prefer that, the freedom that they fought for in the United States of America under the First Amendment, that's one of the reasons I preach about and started Cannabis Church, is to preach about their need and my need and everybody's need and right to grow their own medical cannabis, let alone to have affordable, easy access for good medicine, because that's what this is. This is my arthritis medicine and my neuropathy medicine. And just like any medicine, it's daily medicine. You don't just take one pill for your doctor gives you your pills and you take one pill and you're cured. In fact, those pills don't even usually cure most things the doctors are giving you the pill for. And they have all kinds of side effects. Cannabis has no side effects, and you can't overdose on it. My sister overdosed from opiums herself a few summers ago on July 4th. And that's one of the main reasons I started Cannabis Church and started preaching about the power of plant medicine, and especially this plant, the cannabis plant, and how it is our sacred right and sacred sacrament at Cannabis Church and as humanity, and how it can save the planet, save us from climate change, save us from ourselves. And guess what? You can even make clean biofuel out of it. So all these gas prices everyone's complaining about right now don't have to exist if we just use hemp and cannabis the way it was given to us, because it's God's gift. It's not the devil's lettuce. It doesn't have to be a pot-calypse every time you find out, someone's smoking. It's not the end of the world. So I can't wait to find out about Dell's journey and how medical cannabis is helping him with his recovery. And what does an atheist have to do with a pot pastor at Cannabis Church? Well, all are welcome at Cannabis Church. I have a lot of atheists and agnostics that come through there, actually. So we'll see you every Sunday at Cannabis Church, and we'll see you on an episode where I can't wait to talk to Dell on Down the Road show, Cannabis Conversations with Casey. We'll see you down the road. Be blessed, and I hope your life is full of rich terpenes and cannabinoids for a well-balanced endocannabinoid system. God bless.
Well, hello, everybody out there in Podcast Nation. This is the Recovery Atheist, and I am so happy that you've decided to join me for another episode. So tonight I decided that I would go ahead and start a 4-part episode series that I'm going to call the Medical Cannabis Experience. And what it's going to be about is dealing with, as I've said in previous episodes, now that I am doing what I need to do, I'm on medical cannabis to help me with my sleep issues, which now that I'm on it, it's unbelievable. It's day and night. I'm actually able to get sleep. So I'm going through the experience right now of dealing with it, and also the experience of how tricky it can get dealing with being in a sober living home and also in a treatment facility with it legally. So it can get kind of tricky with certain things about it. I'm kind of a guinea pig when you look at it for them and how they're going to deal with it, because this is coming down the line. They're going to have to deal with it more and more. So I want to go into certain, avenues of the reasons why I did it, pros and cons of it, what it was like, what the experience was, and do it in a 4-part special. So I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to give you my experience so far on what it's like to be part of the Medical Cannabis Club. The reasons I decided to try it in the first place. I deal with a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma, and it really affects my sleep horribly, where I get night terrors, I get nightmares, dreams. So when I'm doing that, I wake up every couple hours, try to get back to sleep, back into the same dream, wake up a couple hours. I don't get good, solid sleep like I should, which makes each day tough because you're tired all day long. It's just the way it is. So I decided to look into other options. So I've tried different sleeping medications. Of course, I went with melatonin to start, which it does in its own way work. It doesn't stop the nightmares or anything, but it does help me sleep. They put me on Doxepin, which I'm discontinuing the use of it because it has been known to give people who don't have nightmares. So, not a good idea to give that to someone who has nightmares. Why it was prescribed to me in the first place, I have no idea. I will be having a conversation with that doctor about this situation. That is a given. You can take that to the bank. So when I started looking around, people started saying cannabis. Now, I have always been a pot smoker. I've been a pot smoker since I was a teenager. My parents know very well, my family and friends know very well my history with it. I don't have what you would call an addiction for it. There's no diagnosis of it. It is something that I take when I need it, but what I've noticed when I do take it is it helps a lot with my anxiety, and it helps me sleep. I don't have any night terrors or dreams or anything like that when I'm on it. So why not, if there's an opportunity, if there's an option to do something different and take medical cannabis, why not? If it helps with the night terrors, it's legal to do. It is something that could be very beneficial for my welfare, And so I decided to look more into it and go with it. Now, the pros of it, obviously, is good sleep, feeling rested and relaxed. The cons, most people are going to sit there and say, well, it's looked at as an addictive drug, which there's no research that has been done who clearly says that it is an addictive drug. But it's no different than any other medications that are out there that you take. You have to take it as prescribed for it to work the way it's supposed to. And so with my prescription, it has right on it, and I'll go into details more about it, but it has right on the bottle how many pills to take, when to take it. All of that has my name on it, prescription number, medical ID number for the cannabis card. It's a legal prescription. It looks like you're getting it from a pharmacist, from a pharmacy. So I'll get into more of that as well. I guess the biggest thing that happens with all of this is the stigma around cannabis. There's that stigma around it. It's been that way since the 1930s when they came out with movies like Reefer Madness. The paper companies, the smoking companies, tobacco companies, different companies back in the 30s and 20s did not want weed to be something that could be legalized or used because it was taking money away from the paper companies, the tobacco companies, and a whole hell of a lot of other companies. And so they came up with a smear campaign to show that it's bad. They came out with a movie called Reefer Madness. I suggest that if you get a chance to watch it, watch it. It pretty much portrays people smoking weed, acting nothing like someone who's actually on pot, acting like they're on crystal meth is more like it. And then in every scene, they're in there with a African American in the scene, which sits there and makes it look like, you know, back in those days, you didn't want to be mixed with those people. And so it made it look like it was a black drug. And if you did it, you'd have to be around those people. And that's not allowed. And so it gave it a bad name. And then over the years with Nixon and all the different war on drugs and Reagan with his mandated sentencing and everything over the years, it just gradually got a stigma around it as this horrible gateway drug, which it's not. It absolutely is not. I am so blessed and so happy that the country and the states individually are getting together and realizing the medicinal qualities that this substance has. Okay, this isn't alcohol. This isn't heroin. This isn't opiates, where opiates are definitely, you don't get withdrawal effects when it comes to pot. You don't have to detox yourself. Okay, not happening. There's also the stigma around it when it comes to treatment, like the situation I'm in here. They're not used to having to, are not used to giving into that to where they're allowing it to be the case that you can use it. They will not let me use a vape, which I get. It has a smell to it, and it's something that you can take multiple times during the day. They would rather have, while I'm here, a more controlled dose, which is what I have. I've done everything according to what they want me to do to make it legit and make them comfortable in the situation. And so all I'm wanting from them is that they do the same for me, make it comfortable for me to get through this treatment process, get through my recovery, and build on my foundation of recovery with the help that I need, which is the cannabis, the medical cannabis. So they're doing it. We're going to do it. We're going to get through it. We're going to look into how this works, how it can work. They're going to have to figure it out because, like I said, I ain't going to be the last one. This is just the beginning of them having to really look into what are we going to do about this. If they can let people be in those groups all passed out on methadone and Suboxone, there's no reason at all that weed cannot be used. That is just a given. And if you can't see that, then you're blind. Blind. So the desired goal from this experience and what I'm trying to do, obviously, is to get sleep. I can't get a lot of that, with the night terrors that I'm having. I mean, I literally, this last week, I've been getting caught up on sleep finally because I've been on the pill, the cannabis pill. But before that, it'd gone a good 2-3 weeks before where I hadn't gotten a good night's sleep at all. So this is desperate. I'm desperate. This is what I have to do to survive. I had lots of discussions. Again, it wasn't like I just did this on a whim. It wasn't like I just said one day, yeah, I'm going to go do this. No, it was something that I put a lot of effort and thought into. Had a discussion with my mental health providers, including treatment providers as well, that this is what was going to happen. This is what I'm going to do. What are your thoughts on it? What can we do to make this work? So we did all of that. I had lots of discussions with family and friends about it as well, whether or not it would be something that would be good for me to be a part of and do. And the biggest, answer I got is to just be safe with it and, try it and see how it works. And if anything is wrong, make sure you mention it right away, which I get. I completely understand. So I've discussed it with a lot of different people. After that, I decided, well, where am I going to call? Well, a friend of mine, a guy that is a very good friend to me, who has been there for me to help me get in and out of treatment and get back on the sober path. He's on the medical cannabis card as well, and his name goes by Supertramp on Discord. I've had him on my show before, and he started showing me a lot of the different products that are available. I tested some of them, and then showed me who he went to, which is Dr. Dotson out of Plymouth, Minnesota. I definitely recommend them. If you're looking into getting it set up, give Dr. Dotson, D-O-D-S-O-N, Pain Management Clinic out of Plymouth, Minnesota. I went through them. They got me set up, got me to the point where it was $200 for the appointment. You meet with the doctor. You can do it over Zoom or telemedicine health, whatever system they have. And go through your medical files. Before you even get set up, before you even meet with the doctor, they will have you sign a release of information and have all your medical records sent over so they can go through it and make sure that you fall under the criteria to be able to do it, which I did, especially with my PTSD, my bipolar, and my anxiety disorder. So you go through that appointment, you talk with him, he makes the decision to do it, he certifies you, he recommends the medication, and then you take that recommendation to the Department of Human Services, which they're the ones that you register with so you can actually get your cannabis card. Costs $50 for people who are disabled, senior citizens, or are on any Minnesota state health care. In this state, it's $50 to sign up with DHS. Otherwise, it's another $200. It is something that you sign up for every year. So next year, I'll have to pay another $50 to reinstate the current card, the current license I have. It's really interesting. It's a lot more professional than what I thought it was going to be honest with you. I was thinking more of the whole Mexico in the back doctor room, getting a prescription filled out and running to the pharmacist to do it. It's not like that. It's very professional. You're treated very much like a patient, with obviously a real thing that they're trying to prescribe for. You take your medication. The pharmacist called it in what I wanted. It got called in to the dispensary. I ran down the dispensary, and the dispensary was unreal. First thing, I'll just give you my experience on it. The first thing I noticed when I walked in was a beautiful smell of cannabis flower going throughout the entire place. Just really good smell, that pungent, you can tell they have their flower is good. It's a little pricey, but it's good. You come in, you show your ID, everything like that. They get you all set up. They buzz you into a room. The actual lobby is locked. You can't just walk in there, so they buzz you into a lobby room, and you sit there and wait, looking at different things. They have pipes. They have a bunch of different stuff you can buy in merchandise, shirts, hats. There's one there that I want to buy that says Cannabis is medicine. I want to buy it. Really like that hat. So I'll probably buy it. Eventually you might see me with it on. But so you sit down, you wait, you talk with the people there in the lobby and everything like that. And then all of a sudden you're called to the medicine window. And that's where your pills, that's where everything that you ordered is ready to go. They put it in the bag for you, everything like that. You're ready to go. You have your prescription. I would suggest that you do it, without a doubt. It's been a really enjoyable experience going through it. There hasn't been any major issues, any major problems. It has just been a good experience all around. 5-star. Now from here, it's what are we going to do with it? The product, they have so many different ways that you're able to do it. You can vape it, you can swallow it in suppress it like a cough syrup. You can do it in lozenges. You can do it in certain pills. I've got the biggest pill. It's the 26 milligram pill. It's the black tablets is what they call it. It's the highest level amount of THC that they have in a pill form for this place. I also do the lozenge, which is 10 milligrams, so I end up getting about 36 milligrams every single night, which is plenty. At least so far, from what I can tell, it's plenty. And they're very professional. So when you look at it, you got the little pill form, and you got the little longes. The longes is the cold. They're like cough drops that you suck on. And again, I'll show the pill one more time. Just a little pill that you take. That's my medicine I take every evening after 10 o'clock. That's it. It's not hard. It's not painful. It's not something that I think is a big issue. Now, the pricing for some people, they'll sit there and say that's an issue. It is expensive. The 30 monthly supply of the pills I have are $100. The lozenges for a monthly supply are $60. The flour, we're selling flour now in the state of Minnesota. That stuff goes for $70 for 3.5 grams. That's pretty spendy. You can get it a hell of a lot cheaper on the street. So if they're wanting to try to cut down in the street movement of marijuana, they're going to have to figure out some way to lower those prices to get people to do it the legal way. Because pretty much the people that are doing it are just happy to do it because it's legal. Okay, it's a legal flower that you get to buy, that you get to have, that's prescribed to you, and the cop can't do anything to you about it. So, yeah, they'll pay the prices for it, but it's a little on the high side, without a doubt. Everything about it is very welcoming, understanding, compassionate, and trying to get the help that we need. And so being that it's right around that 10 o'clock time, I'm going to take my pill. And I'm going to take my longes, my cough drop, place that in to go ahead and suck on and get that way as well. Now, I'm going to, as time goes on in each part that's coming up, I'm going to talk more and more about the experiences and how it feels and what it does. So far, as the feeling as each hour's pass and everything, the mental condition it usually starts about an hour after I consume it. I start noticing it. It's very relaxing, very soothing, very mellow. It's not extreme. It's not over the top. I can function, but I feel very mellow, very much able to, turn the TV off, do what I need to do, and get some sleep. I'm trying to get myself back on a normal sleep schedule of where, I'm in bed by 2 at the latest. That way I can be up by 10 in the morning. I'm very much a night owl. I'll stay up all night long sometimes. So I need to get back on a normal sleep schedule. So, yeah, so that's where it's at right now with the cannabis situation. That's where I'm at. I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be talking about here in the future on other episodes is going to be how this is going to work when it comes to treatment in other sober living homes that I'm going to try to get into. Will this have an effect because I'm on the legal cannabis card? Will they decline me because of it? These are things that I'm curious about finding out. I found a place here that will allow me to do it, but will somebody else? That's going to be the question over the next couple months as I start looking and transitioning into that next phase. I'm going to have to look into it and see exactly what I'm able to do and what I can't. So, over the next couple months, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. Now, the guy who did the intro for me, I just want to give a shout out to Casey Murdoch. He is an amazing individual. He's got an amazing podcast, an amazing YouTube channel. I'm giving him a shout out because we're going to be getting together and doing a couple more episodes here in the next couple months. Getting an update with him, where he's at, what's going on with him in his life, and just kind of talking about cannabis in its own right. He's an expert on it. At least I think so. He wants to say he's not, but I think he is. And just have an all-out good discussion about where we're at in the world today and in the country today when it comes to legalizing of marijuana, of cannabis. So I'm looking forward to talking with him. I'm very excited about it. Take a look at him, Casey Murdoch. He's just amazing. He's got a couple documentary episodes, and he's just an amazing guy. So I can't wait to have him on the show again. I've had him on before. If you want to go back and look at other episodes, you'll see in the past I've had him on. Check it out. It's good stuff. Now, remember, you can find me wherever you want to find me. I'm on all the different platforms. You can't get away with saying you can't find me. It's there. It's on all the platforms. Just put in the Recovery Atheist, and trust me, it's there. Take me on the go when you're on the go. I'd love to come with you. Check out my YouTube channel. I'm finally now being able to get videos back up and running again and back on the channel. You can also find me at Facebook under the Recovery Atheist group page. Suggest to check it out. Get together with a few hundred of my friends and discuss different issues. Or, by being on that, you automatically get updated on the new episodes when they come out. So check it out. I would love to hear from you. You can also email me at therecoveryatheist@gmail.com. If there is a topic you want to have discussed, if you just want to give a shout out, if you want to see if you want to be somebody I interview on the show that wants to talk, I would love to hear it. Bring it on. And thank you again for everyone for listening. I love all of you. I love you, Mom and Dad. I love everybody in the world. I hope everyone has a great week. Peace out. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Atheist podcast. It's now up to you. What will you do with what you've heard? How will you use it? I challenge you not to stay silent. Be heard. Be real. Be different.